welcome, denizens of the internet. We are Grin and Barrett.
So welcome back. This is our part 2 of our Mardi Gras episode. So I hope you enjoy it. We had a lot to say on this subject, so strap in because there's more. Enjoy.
So Alice and I were in a parade. We actually we got a really good deal because we had a friend who was actually working the floats and stuff and worked out an arrangement so she could hang out with us and photograph for the crew. And so that was the first year, and then the second year she arranged again because my dad always wanted to ride in a parade. So they were like, okay, we'll do it again. Y'all need to be in charge of your throws this time. So I got to do it again, and that was great because my dad was like, he's like, that was awesome. I never want to do it again. Did it. I'm done. He's like, this is for young people. This is not for somebody who's 70. But he had a blast. We have great pictures with him. But I love this friend, so thank you so much for letting us ride in the parade. But I gotta say it's a different experience than actually watching. I don't know about you, Alice, but I mean I had a lot of fun. But I do feel that you spend all this money and all this time making stuff and all this energy, and people aren't as
appreciative.
Thank you. That's the right word. And so everybody thinks if just because stuff is behind you, they think it's your stuff. But no, other people, you have a space, and other people share stuff with you. So yeah, I do. I'm glad I did it, but I don't think I would ride again.
Yeah.
Well, I have multiple experiences. I've marched in parades, I've walked parades, and the one time I rode in a parade. I have to say that riding was the best experience. It kind of tears like I started marching. That's the worst. I did walking. That one's somewhat better. And then riding is the best. As far as like marching, I mean, it probably wouldn't be quite so bad if I wasn't drumline. Because when you march drumline, you don't get a break. Because you give the breaks to the rest of the band.
Right.
So you don't stop. And especially, when I was in high school, I marched just miscellaneous instruments if I had an instrument at all. A lot of the time I got stuck with the banner. Doing Mardi Gras in college wasn't as bad, but with that, I was marching crash cymbals, and it was 18-inch crash cymbals, and they're strapped to your hands. You can't put them down. So even when, like, it got to the point where I couldn't lift my arms, they let us alternate playing, like, half the cymbals would play one round, and then half the cymbals would play another round, and I could put my arms down, but even then, they're still attached to your hands, you're still walking. And the experience of having a band parent, like, on poop patrol, because if you're behind horses in a parade, and you're marching, you can't really look for them, so, like, especially, like, high school, we had parents that were on poop patrol, and they would guide you around the poop piles in the parade.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's another portion that I realized we probably should talk about for like people who aren't familiar with Mardi Gras. So like Mardi Gras parades, like what consists of a Mardi Gras parade? You have floats, you have marching bands, and then you have some other marching groups. Like they might have, contraptions that they go through, or they're like a noisemaker, or or most times, or there's dance crews. There's different dance crews.
Dance crews, yes, those are my faves.
Fired up, and a lot of like local high schools send marching bands and dance crews, like cheerleaders and that kind of stuff. So like that's kind of what consists of a parade. It's not just constant floats. And typically, most big parades start with the officers and the maids. Like it's like you have a title float, maybe I don't know if it's first, but it's like all of the maids and the officers, and then you have like the king and queen or grand marshal of the parade go by, and then that stuff is fun. It's cool. Usually you don't really get, catch a lot of stuff because they're in giant harnesses with huge feathers and they're like strapped into it. They can throw like one bead at a time. But like once they're past, then you have the big, like the big floats that you're used to seeing on TV and stuff. Oh, and then sorry, you mentioned the horses. Yes, there are people on horseback usually, whether they're cops or they're actual like costumed people that are part of the parade on horseback. Like they go by, and horses poop.
They do.
That's what they do.
They leave big, gigantic, stinky piles. It's kind of like Jurassic Park.
But without the teeth.
Yeah.
We keep talking about Mardi Gras parades. Can we talk about the types of throws that you can get? Like,
talk about that. Yeah.
there are the plastic beads like this, but there are also glass beads, which I really love. I think they're really neat.
Yeah, these are glass.
Yeah.
And then it's got some carved rocks as well.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Love that.
And glass beads are like top tier throws. Like if you can catch some glass beads, because they're like, you can wear them during regular every day. They're like beautiful jewelry. But people will throw like stuffed animals, usually to kids. And each parade, not necessarily each and every parade, but a lot of parades will have a special throw that they throw out. Like Muses has the shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got this one of the little
Pop socket.
Yeah, you can get a pop socket. Like they have all sorts of really neat things. You can get the cups. We talked about that.
Moon pie.
Oh, moon
That's
pies.
like my
Yeah,
main
you
thing.
can
It's like
get
I gotta get
edible
ramen
things.
and I gotta get moon pies.
King Arthur is known for the grails.
Yeah, the Holy
They're
Grails.
so cool. Like a lot of these things that people throw are like art projects. They're really cute little crafts. I'm sure AC has. I know she's been working on some throws.
Yeah, so
Four.
I was going to talk about Chewbacca, which is the intergalactic.
Crew.
Okay, help me.
Intergalactic crew of Chewbacca's. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so I was like, I'm gonna mess it up because I've been drinking. So, but so there's I forget how many crews we have in Chewbacca itself, but it's basically the big nerd parade. So think of me talking about Dragon Con. So now take all that nerd energy and add it to a parade in New Orleans, and you get this really cool bunch of creative, artistic people who are nerds who get drunk on a Saturday night and walk from 7 o'clock at night to 10 o'clock. And I think we're like, they changed the map. So don't ask me where. I just know we end up at the Fillmore.
I was just follow whoever's in front of me. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. So every year I walk with different crews. I walked with Crew to Who, which is a Doctor Who crew. One year I did Mystic Manage, which is a Harry Potter crew. I was a giant sorting hat. It was awesome. This year I've been a member of Craft, which is a crew of really awesome parodies for years. Like, but I haven't walked with them. Like, I'll help them with making throws and coming up with throws, but I haven't actually gotten to walk with them, and I'm really excited because I get to hang out with all my friends and be really silly. So our theme is up all night to get Loki, and we'll be walking with the other Loki crew, which is Glorious Purpose, and we've all been making different throws. And so for those who don't know, right after Ida, we had this giant alligator that ended up in a dumpster. So our crew decided that that's going to be our contraption, because Chewbacca doesn't just walk. We also make contraptions. We don't have big floats. Like, we'll make little like carts and get industrial willows and we'll push them and stuff. So it usually just is to hold our drinks or our throws. So we're doing this giant dumpster, pink dumpster, with a giant alligator with Loki horns. It looks awesome. It is getting there. We will post photos with this. But we're all going to be different Lokis. And I've been working on my throws, and I found some little wooden clothespins that I had, and I made little Loki gators with hands. So before parade's next is February 5th. And tomorrow night is the big swap, which is basically you get to go and show all your art, all your handmade crafts that you made with everybody, and trade them with other crew members.
I have to say that before moving to New Orleans, the only crew that I had heard of, it wasn't Bacchus, it wasn't, any of the other big crews, it was Chewbacca's. And that's because there was Chewbacca's is technically a religion ?
Correct.
For tax purposes,
so
it is.
Yeah.
yes, for tax purposes, Chewbacca's is a religion, and that's how I heard about it. I thought that was super funny, and so like it has a reputation outside of New Orleans where people are like, oh, it's like this weird nerdy religion.
See, True to Who was my gateway to that because I'm like, Doctor Who? Mardi Gras? Yes!
Oh, wait, so outside of New Orleans, people think Chewbacca's is a weird religion?
They're like,
are.
they think it's like, they know that they
sense.
use the religion thing for tax purposes, so they
Okay.
like use that as a bad example of using religion for tax purposes. You know what I mean?
I googled the pig bladders. They can be pig or cow, and you use the sound of them to scare death away.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I mean, there was a Grim Reaper, so I probably should have known that, but it's like, oh, it's the pig bladders. Yeah, that's the thing.
You know what? Now that you mention it, we have
Did we do that? Now I need to look at
we do have a tradition of greasing the poles. We have
Yeah, we do that. That's the Friday before
Yes.
Mardi Gras.
What you got, Iris?
You guys have, I don't know what this is, but like it's the people with the fire.
Oh,
Go before the parades.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about that. I don't know what that is, but I think it's really nice.
Oh, okay. They're as a kid, they were my favorite. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know enough about them, so please.
I know there's more history to it, and if I were more sober, I would remember. But there is history to it. But it's they're called flambeaus. They're guys in like flame retardant, suits, and they hold these tall metal poles, and at the top of the poles, it shoots fire. It doesn't shoot fire. It's a constant flame. It's about what three or four flames.
They're super tall, and there's like 3 or 4 flames,
Yeah.
and it's very impressive. And they dance with their fire, and it's so cool.
Did you ever throw change in it?
I have no.
Okay.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep. Growing up, that was like they were. Like,
Yeah, you're supposed to, because you're supposed to pay them or something.
Yeah, like you're supposed to throw money, and that as people, I think they've gotten away from that nowadays because it's just too dangerous. People are stupid and don't know how to throw. But like, in the olden days, like when when I was younger, you would throw change up in there and try to get it up in there, and they would be like, "Thank you," and they do a little dance and walk away. There's some cool history to that. We'll post in the show notes, like a link or something so we can all read about it. So one of the other things with throws, that's what we call it in New Orleans and in Mobile, I think, is like Mardi Gras throws. So it's like beads, cups, doubloons, etc. But sometimes people throw moon pies, which is like, is it like a whoopie pie, y'all? Isn't that what it's kind of like?
I think so. That's what I don't know.
I mean, you've got like 2 kind of like graham cracker cookies. They're soft and squishy, and then they have a layer of marshmallow, and then they have a coating over them.
So, question.
Yeah, kind of think an oatmeal cream pie. Like if you're not from the South, think of oatmeal cream pie, but not oatmeal, just like a regular.
Although we
cookie.
throw oatmeal pies
and then,
too.
Yes.
Those are really good. But then in the middle, it's marshmallow, and then it's covered in something, and they have different flavors.
And they have like a
I've had
bite to
banana ones. Yeah, and they're very good. Like, and they come in plastic, so they're not like, it's like Little Debbie's sort of.
Yes. Yeah. And you can
But
get
you can find them in stores.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like, $1 million question. What's everybody's favorite flavor of moon pie?
Banana.
Me too. I like banana the best too.
I don't know if I've had enough of them to have a favorite flavor, but I like
the new
them.
ones are
They're always
interesting. Like they have like cookies and cream and vanilla and strawberry and like all kinds of flavors now.
I see a moon pie, I put it in my mouth.
Yeah,
I see a moon pie, I put it in my mouth.
Well,
I give
growing
them
up,
away
there were only 2 flavors, and I was allergic to one of them, so it was banana or nothing. So I decided I liked it.
Also, let's talk about Hubig's pies, which I think are finally coming back a little bit. y'all know about Hubig's pies? Ooh, okay.
Are those like the little hand pies?
Yes, the little hand pies. Yes, and they have like you can get they used to have sweet potato, apple. What else? They had a bunch of stuff. But anyway, yes, they're little hand pies, and they used to throw them lemon. I like the lemon ones; they were good. They used to throw them during Mardi Gras, and you can also just buy them in grocery stores and stuff. But their factory burned down several years ago, so like they've been out. They've been out, like they, so if you ever hear a New Orleanian being like, I'm really jonesing for a Hubig's pie, that's what it is. It's like, but I have, what you got?
I used to work down the street from a Hadel's.
Yes.
So they have like the same recipe. Right. So I used to go in there and be like, I want some of these. Thank you. They're really good.
They're just yummy, aren't they? They're a good they're not too big, but they're not too small. They're just like, kind of like a moon pie.
It's like a McDonald's pie, but like not as gross. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Oh, you know what? And I say all that. You know what's kind of similar? The little apple pies you can get from Popeyes.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of like that. But like, I always felt Hubig's was better. Like they were sweeter. But I have a good story about that though. I was on Canal Street with a bunch of friends during college, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I went and found a place. Like I broke away from them. I was like, I'll be right back. I went and I found somewhere, grabbed a drink or whatever, patronized the business, went into the bathroom. And as I was coming back, I was walking, and I was walking along the barricade because there was plenty enough room. It was early in the day, so it wasn't like it was totally packed yet. And I was walking, and a Hubig's pie truck was going by, and I felt like the coolest person on earth because this is what happened. Hubig's pie's coming this way. I'm walking along, and I turn, and they see me, and they toss it to me, and I just palm it, open it, start eating it, and then meet up with my friends. And I was like, that was so cool. I was just like, damn, thank you, and just went. But like, I love that's something about Mardi Gras that's really fun. I don't know if it's going to be a little different during the pandemic, but that's something I loved about Mardi Gras was that you could catch food. And like just eat it. Like they throw chiwis is a big thing. Like they're like Cheetos, but they're chiwis. They would throw peanuts, bags of peanuts, moon pies, Hubig's pies. One year, I was with my family, and this person was throwing mini mufaladas in individual wrapped. So it was like these little tiny, like not baseball size, a little bit smaller than that, individually wrapped mufaladas. I caught like 3 of them and ate all of them right then and there. So like, yeah.
A mufalada, for people that aren't from New Orleans, it's a sandwich basically.
Yeah.
It's a special sandwich, but it's a sandwich.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, you're right.
Yeah, you can Google it.
Yeah, it's like an Italian thing. Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got like meats on it.
Yeah.
And then it's on a special type of bun, and then it's got like an olive
spread
on top.
Yeah.
Olive salad. Yeah.
And you have to have the right bread, because if you don't have the right bread, the olive salad will soak through the bread. So you can't do it on a regular sandwich. Like you can go buy the olive spread at a grocery store, but you have to have the right bread.
It's like on a ciabatta bun or something.
Yeah.
They're good. They're not bad.
And you need to make sure you drink water with them, because they're very salty and you will be so dehydrated. They're good, but
they're very good. They're not my most favorite thing. I like them much better as an adult. I wasn't super into them as a kid, but when they're small like that, bite-sized stuff is just more palatable to me. Like I just like that better. What you got?
I also just like free food. Thank you for throwing things to me.
Yeah, I hoard the ramen. Like, I need like a couple months worth of ramen from this parade. Thank you.
So, super quick. Interestingly enough, we have some parades that throw ramen, but it's the St. Patrick's Day parades that we have here. Like
and they throw other vegetables.
Potatoes, because I accidentally got to one of those because I went over to the sushi place that I like, and then there was a parade. I'm like, what why is there a parade? And so like I was waiting on my food, so I was like, and so I just joined the parade and I caught a potato.
That Mardi Gras is not the only time that New Orleans in like the Gino area has parades. We have let's start in the beginning of the year. So Mardi Gras usually first, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we have usually in the summertime we have like a walking crew of what is it, crew of midsummer or something? It's like a midsummer parade.
Yeah, they're in August.
They're in August, and then in October there's crew of Boo. And there's other ones too that I'm forgetting.
So there's the St. Patty's parade, the Irish parade, Irish Channel parade. There's there's like 3 Irish parades, right?
Yeah, there's the
Irish Channel.
The Metairie one. The Metairie one is one I go to because a couple of my best friends, they live like a block off the parade route. So we go there and we all cook. We cook breakfast, have coffee, and then we go out to the parade route, and we all just bring all the food back in and then divvy it up with whatever we want.
I'm not gonna lie, for the St. Patrick's Day parade, the Metairie is where it's at. Like, you actually don't want to go to New Orleans, you want to go to Metairie. That's where the big one is.
They got which is ironic, right? It's usually the other way around, but St. Patrick's Day parade in Metairie, they know what they're doing. But like, so those are other instances of parades. Another instance was when the Saints won the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, I went to that one.
I did too. Okay, so there were 2 parades. Some history time. So my grandpa was Buddy DiLiberto, or Buddy D, and he was a sportscaster in New Orleans, and he had kind of a speech impediment. So like he was very well known because of that. And he was a big Saints fan and everything. And he always said that if the Saints went to the Super Bowl, he would wear a dress. And so after he passed away, years later, the Saints got into the Super Bowl, and another local sportscaster who was formerly a quarterback, he played football, his name's Bobby Hebert, he decided to go ahead and honor my grandpa's wishes and had an entire parade called Buddy and Bobby's Broads. And I think it was the weekend before the Super Bowl. It was like Red Dress Run, except like everybody was in, it was mostly men, which I thought was hilarious. They were wearing wigs and dresses, and all of them were talking about, Buddy, and it was really, really great. And I remember being like, this is cool. I went with my family. We were hanging out watching the parade, and this man walks by, and he had a tattoo of my grandpa's face on his arm, and I started bawling.
Oh.
Thing I've ever seen. But yeah, like they did that, and then they had another parade. Like they had scheduled a parade after the Super Bowl, whether or not they won, we were going to have a parade anyway. So they had a bunch of famous or well-known floats from different big parades here in New Orleans. I think wasn't Drew Brees in the Muse's shoe?
Yep.
Or was the kicker? I can't remember.
I thought it was Shockney. Was it the thing that was really annoying about? Yeah, the thing that was really annoying about that parade is other people who weren't football players were on the floats with them wearing their jerseys.
Right, so you
couldn't figure out who was who because you don't pay. They wear football helmets, so you don't know who is who. But this was like a 3-hour parade. We never did see who's the coach. I'm sorry, I don't want to say.
Oh, Sean Payton. Yeah.
Yeah. We never did see him show up because he would stop the float and he would take the trophy out and let people touch it, and then he would get back in the float.
I'm glad you said that because think about this. The Lombardi Trophy is legendary, right? Like, and freaking Sean Payton's letting literally the entire city touch it. Think about that.
The city needed the morale boost that year, so everybody needed to touch it. Everybody needed to touch that.
He also had a thing where he would just show up at a bar and would just prop the trophy on the counter and let
everybody's
people come up.
Everything shuts down for Mardi Gras. When the parades start, basically, it's a one-way trap downtown. Like, you go in and you cannot leave until, like, the parades have, either gotten out of the way or, you're stuck there for several hours where you want to be or not. Like, we've tried to leave during the Mardi Gras parades, and it took hours to get out of downtown.
Yeah.
So basically, we go and we camp out at our friend's house with the understanding that we cannot leave until a particular time. So it's usually like 4 to 5 hours we're going to be down there. And a lot of businesses close for Mardi Gras, especially if they're in the downtown area.
So let's talk about some parade etiquette. So, just in general, like, respect everybody else around you. Don't bump anyone. Don't push anyone. If you are an adult and you're about to catch like a stuffed animal or like something cool, and there's a child in the general vicinity that's like eyeing it, give it to the kid. Like, you don't need it. just give it to the kid. And another big thing to remember, if you see, we're talking about stuff falling on the ground, go for it. Don't even worry about it. But be careful, because some people, like my grandmother, rest her soul, would, if she saw a doubloon on the ground that she wanted, she would step on it. Whether or not there's a hand there, she would step on that doubloon and freaking stand there until she was ready to lean down and grab it. So be very careful picking up stuff off the ground if there's a lot of people around you, because your little hands will get squished. And kind of general stuff like be careful, don't get too drunk. Be aware that cell phone reception is impossible. Okay, it's crap during parades. Like when you have such a concentration of so many people, and our infrastructure in New Orleans is crap. So it's really if you're gonna meet up with people, make plans in advance. Like, don't do it the day of, or don't do it then. Don't expect to be able to get in touch with them the entire time. It's just sometimes you get through, but it's really hard during the parades. Another thing to talk about is make sure, if you're going to be out there the whole time, make sure that you have access to a bathroom. Whether it's if you rent a place or something, or if you're able to go to a convenience store or something. Food wise, you can find food everywhere. There are food trucks. A lot of places are open. A lot of bars will be open that serve food. Insider tip: St. George's, I think it's Episcopal Church on St. Charles. Every Mardi Gras that I remember, I don't know if they do it anymore, they open the church and they actually have you can go and get a hot lunch and stuff, and pay them a little bit. It's put on by the parishioners and stuff. It's pretty cool. So yeah, there's places everywhere to get food and drink. You won't go hungry.
Be aware that people have died during Mardi Gras parades. Your first instinct is going to be to get as close to the floats as possible to catch things from the people that are throwing items to you. Yeah. But you don't want to get too close, because A, everybody's drunk. B, it's a crowd and people are going to be pushing as much as they shouldn't be pushing. They still do, to try to get things. And C, those floats are moving. So as they're moving, you can get caught in between two floats that are connected, or just get caught underneath the float and get pulled under and die. People have died that way, so be safe. You don't want to be all up against a float. You want to be back a little ways. There's a reason there's a barricade. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I was about to say, do you guys not have barricades throughout the parade?
No, we don't.
Not throughout the entire. Not on St. Charles. In some places.
And another rule is don't. It looks like the float is stopped, especially at night. I don't cross the other side of the street at night unless there's nothing's coming. So that's how a lot of people have died too, because they thought the parade was stopped and they could cut across between the two, between the truck and the float, or the floats and the other floats, and they got caught in the little trailer
attachment. Yeah.
So I don't cross them at night unless there's no parades. During the day, I still don't. I mean, I watch before I run across the street, but you can see during the day. So just like we say, look both ways. Definitely look like 5 times.
And don't worry too much if you're kind of far back. You will catch something, because you've got people in the bigger parades. You've got double-decker floats and sometimes triple-decker. You've got big freaking floats. So you've got people who are towering above you that can very easily throw you stuff from afar.
And they often will consider that a challenge.
Correct.
And if you're not good at catching stuff like me, people will give you stuff if you look sad enough, people will give you stuff. Because people like throwing things, but nobody really wants to take all that stuff home. So they'll be like, here's some beads. And you're like, thanks.
So, I have a system. When I go to the parade, I put on a couple strands of starter beads, because people are more likely to give you beads if you have some beads. But if you have no beads, they generally won't give you beads. It's kind of like, if you've ever done the dollar bill thing, pinned to your chest, you get more money if you start yourself off with a bill or two.
Well, you have to do that, because otherwise they don't know it's your birthday. You know what I mean?
Some people have a special pin to say it, give me $1, it's my birthday, stuff like that. But if you start with a couple strands of beads, you get more beads than if you start with nothing, because then they assume you don't want them. And you should definitely bring a bag.
Oh, that's
Bring a
another
bag.
thing. Bring
Always
back,
bring a bag.
you know, and water. Bring water. Like bring water, no matter what, just to stay hydrated. And like in getting to the parade, it's sometimes a little bit easier. Like you can find places to park. Sometimes you have to walk a ways. It depends on where you're catching the parade and what parade it is. But getting home afterwards, yeah, it's gonna take a flippin' while, dude. So just be patient.
Don't plan on lifting or Ubering. It will cost you $300 and they will not come.
Yeah, it's exactly. Like it's just a waste of time. I used to live
Was it 300 or was it like 100? I think it was 100.
It was like
we tried-
100, and we just ended up making my partner come get us. We
Yeah. yeah.
Yeah.
AC and I went to Muses in like 2017, 2018 ish, and
Yeah, I think my sister was with us too.
Oh, cool.
yeah, your sister was there, and we went. We didn't have any. It was not a hard time getting there, but on the way back, we waited for an Uber or a Lyft for a while, and then we kept like an hour or two, and we ended up just getting my partner to come get us eventually.
See, we were able to squeeze about 8 to 10 cars into my friend's yard, his backyard. Like we pack them in tight, and so again, we're not planning to leave for several hours. So like by the time everyone's ready to go, we can get like the first few cars out, and then we can all leave. But we carpool down there, so there's very few vehicles, and we can just pack them all into his backyard.
I used to live on Iberville Street, which is in Mid City, and it's like a block off of Bienville. And then so where the mortuary is, the haunted house, where my house was at the time, it was across the street, like from Canal Street, and then one block up, and that was where my house was, right on the corner. And what we would do is, my ex-husband's best friend used to work at this sporting goods place on in Mid City, on Carrollton, and it's a trek from. It would be a trek from our house to there, but we would just hoof it, you know. And then at the end of the parade, because in Mid City, the only parade that runs is Endymion, and it's it's an afternoon parade, so it starts in the afternoon and then goes pretty well into the night. And we would catch it at my friend's place, like his place of business. At the end of Endymion, all of us from our respective spots would return to me and my partner's house, and we would order pizza because we lived like 2 blocks away from a pretty dang good pizza place. We'd order pizza, go grab it, and just drink and eat pizza and play games for the rest of the night until the traffic died down so they could go home. So like that was a tradition for a few years, and it was like so awesome. But yeah, like there's all kinds of little tricks to the trade. And you know, if you're interested in going to a parade, I would highly recommend going with a local your first time, or like people who live here, who have lived here for a while, that kind of know their way around the city and stuff, because I think New Orleans gets a really bad reputation for being dangerous, and I'm not saying it's not, because it totally is. Like we're having like really bad carjackings right now, but like, which, you know, what are you gonna do? You can't really do anything about that. You know, yeah.
Anywhere where there's people, it's dangerous. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
New Orleans is certainly like dangerous, but it's also a tourist destination, so the locals really don't have usually as big of an issue. Anywhere where there's tourism, there's danger because people prey on the tourists. So be aware that that's a thing, which you have to be aware anywhere you go.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, I've never in all of my years of going to parades have ever had a problem with pickpockets, but apparently people have, so just be careful. And also, like, don't engage with, like, if you're like, hey, this person's really drunk, just leave. Just get away from them. Like, if, like, you know what I mean? Like, if there's a situation going where it's like, you know, they're, you know, whatever, like, they're getting belligerent towards you, just get the heck out of there. Like, don't deal with it. Just freaking leave.
See, I just have people collapse on me.
I mean, yeah, you want to look, be safe. You're drinking out in public, and that is perfectly fine and legal. But like, also, like, be aware that you're drinking in public. Like, don't get so drunk that you're not going to be able to take care of yourself. Because enjoy yourself, stay hydrated, eat food.
Eat
There's
food.
plenty of it around.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
I mean,
Like,
the only
you know
time
what?
I've gotten into trouble was I got drunk enough that we had strawberries as snacks, and I'm
Oh.
allergic, and I can have 3. However, drunk Alice can't count.
Yeah.
You, AC. I like that little.
Yeah.
I'm gonna corroborate the story.
Well, no, it's I'm the one who has to take care of.
Yeah.
So
Okay, wait. This is a funny segue, but like you totally looped it back into throws again. Okay, so a lot of big parades during like the main weekend, which is like Friday night, all day and night Saturday, and all day and night Sunday, and then nighttime Monday, and then all day Tuesday. That's like the main parade times, right? When's Tux? Tux is Saturday.
yes.
Their whole thing is like potty humor, and they're also they're like Friar Tux is their mascot, so they have a lot of like funny little Friar Tux dolls and things, and then they also have toilets. And I caught one that like it's a little plastic toilet. When you lift it, if you fill the tank up, if you lift it, it shoots water. And I'm not kidding you, that's in the china cabinet at my parents' house still. It's like it's so. Now that I'm saying that, that's where my Frankie Muniz doubloon is. Like 1 year, Frankie Muniz was like Grand Marshal of Endymion. I was in high school, I think, it was high school because I went to it because I was really excited. I really liked Malcolm in the Middle, and I caught a doubloon from him in like a cup with his face on it and stuff. And that's in the china cabinet at my parents' house too. Because like on Sunday is the one that I've been to more than I can count. It's like Okeanos, Mid City, Toth, and then hours later, the night parade is Bacchus. Bacchus is my favorite because I love it. It's my favorite. I don't know why. I just have the happiest childhood memories from Bacchus. Bacchus has a bunch of really cool floats that are named after the parade. So they have like the Bacca Wappa, which is a huge whale that opens its mouth. They have the Bacchasaurus, which is a big like long neck dinosaur. They have the Bacca Gator, which is a huge alligator. They have a few other ones, but the reason I brought it up was because they have King Kong, Mama Kong, and Baby Kong. And King Kong and Mama Kong, you have riders that throw you the beads, but it's a tradition to throw beads at them. So like not at the riders, but at the actual King Kong and Mama Kong, and then Baby Kong. Oh, I'm sorry. King Kong and Mama Kong don't have riders. Baby Kong has riders, so you don't throw it at Baby Kong. Anyway.
You ready? Crew of Iris and Crew of Tux runs on the Saturday in Uptown.
Yeah, Iris and Tux are Uptown, and then that night it's Endymion in Mid City, and then
Yes.
And then on Sunday is when it really kicks off because it's like Okeanos, Mid City, Toth. Hours later, it's Bacchus. The next day, I can never ever remember the couple of the
Can we tell you for Mardi Gras? Okay. Crew of is it Proteus?
Proteus.
Yeah. And crew of Orpheus.
Okay, Orpheus is the big one. That has it's got the Smoky Mary, which is a huge float. It's a train. So you got the train part, and then it's got another car. It's like one of those mega freaking floats. So it's got another car and another car and another car, and they also have one of my favorite floats of all time. It's called Pontchartrain Beach, and so history time again in New Orleans. And like kind of closer to my parents' times. I don't think it was still around when I was born. Maybe it was, but it was. No, it wasn't. Okay. So they have a whole big old float. It's called Pontchartrain Beach, and it has all the attractions from Pontchartrain Beach from back in the day. There's like, and it's like, it's another mega float, and one of them it's a haunted house that they used to have there, and to this day it's my favorite one. They have the coolest throws from that one.
Wasn't it the clown? It was like a clown, right?
Yeah, it's that creepy old clown.
Yep.
It's a Pontchartrain Beach, but so yeah, history. I have some fun history to share because my dad grew up on the corner of Barone and I forgot the other street. Oops. But his dad worked for City Hall, and he and his 5 siblings grew up above a bar. Like they owned the bar and they ran it too, so they did all kinds of stuff. Okay. And that bar, they had it was called the pretty sure it's a fine arts studio now, which is really weird. But anyway, my dad was telling me recently, he's like, yeah, we used to have a fine arts, it was like a neighborhood parade, and we would all dress up. He's like, not PC, so just letting you know, like, it was, there's a lot of cultural appropriation. He didn't say this, but like the way he was talking, I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, he's like, yeah, they when he was a big, little, like when him and his siblings were little, they would march in the parade, but what they would do is they would create this, like, it looked like a crib on wheels, and they would put the kids in there and just hand them, sandwiches and walk with them. And my dad's like, yeah, we called it kid jail. He's like, so we technically were in the parade, but so yeah, like we have some cool history, like in my family with parades and stuff, and I think the bar burned down at some point, but I don't know if they rebuilt it. I forget, but he's got so many great stories of like growing up in New Orleans. Like, it's really interesting. And then the other little anecdote that I wanted to say, okay, so do you know how Dixie beer is back? You know that brand Dixie beer? Okay.
Yes,
like,
but it's still not. I don't think it's still
anymore, huh?
Huh?
Did they change the name yet?
No, it's Dixie, but it's not brewed here.
Okay, so because it used to be brewed here.
Right, they still say that it's a New Orleans beer, but it's technically, if you look at the bottle, it's not brewed here. So they still haven't moved back stuff. The last time I checked it, which was like 2 years ago, they hadn't changed it back.
It was like it was a big one back in my dad's day, and like that was what they would drink a lot is Dixie beer. And my dad's best friend from the post office, he made a Dixie beer like hat, like out of can. I don't know, but he made a whole like a costume out of it. And I'm not sure how the Dixie. Oh, I think they put out like a call for like, hey, if you have any cool historical, like pictures or of beer or whatever, Mardi Gras, whatever. And my dad's friend was like, oh, here, take this. He's in the commercial. So if you see the Dixie beer commercial, like, you can find it online. But the guy that's in, he's like kind of going like, yeah, and he's got like cans and stuff. Like, it's.
That's so cute.
Like, and it's just somebody's like, that's my best friend. But so yeah, like, that was a fun one. And then the other one is, this is one of my favorite pictures of my dad of all time. It's like way before kids. Like, he it was back when he had like, he was skinny as a rail and he had like long black hair. He was like, that was the style, right? And there's a picture of him. And I share it every year on Mardi Gras because it's like, hey, happy Mardi Gras. Here's my dad pretending to be from Canada. He has a sign that says Quebec, Canada, throw me something, mister, or whatever. And I'm like, Dad, why do you? He's like, because you get more stuff when you're from out of town. And I was just like, true local. That's such a, yeah. But he's just like, yeah, we pretended to be from Canada so we could get more beads. And I'm just like, yeah, I have like a million bajillion stories of freaking Mardi Gras, man. Like, it's crazy.
All right. Well, so let us know in the comments below if you have any sort of cool Mardi Gras stories, or if you have any sort of preconceived Mardi Gras notions. We'd like to hear it below. We also have in our info section below the video, we have a link to our email. Send us any videos, ideas, or anything that you want us to talk about down below there. And then we also have a link to our Facebook page where you'll have more info about us. We post extra things there, and we're active on there. So if you have anything you want to say to us, you can reach us there too. With that all said, like if you did, share if you think you should, and subscribe if you want to live. Just kidding. Thank you. Bye.